Hi, this is Eltrayan El-Amin, Breatharian.
And Cristiana Eltrayan, being of earth and other realms.
All right, now today we're going to talk about purity is the new high. Now, why do we say this? We're in the age of information. We know the do's and don'ts now of what brings a higher vibration, a higher frequency. We're past that now. And now we teach deeply, both of us, about this holistic lifestyle. Grabbing these natural energies that will give you better clarity of thought, watching our diets, intermittent fasting, and of course I even teach food purity of eating very little or none at all, being on the breatharian levels. And this all cause a better life, of purity being the best high.
You've seen us talking about this the other day and ending most of our videos with this new mantra that we like so much. Purity is the new high. What does it mean? What gets you high usually? You know, some people need energizers. Some people need to smoke something. Some people need a good partner. Some people need things to get them high. But what if the state of being high could come from the inside and could get you higher than anything else? What if you had the state of purity where the energy will flow so beautifully in ways that you would be ever blissfully?
Oh, absolutely. Because what it boils down to is health. It feels good to be healthy. This is why purity is the new high. Of course, there's foods that taste good, but when you overeat, guess what? It don't feel good no more. There's over-toxification. Not only in the physical body, but also the mind.
Yeah.
When you're living healthy, it feels good. You can move, touch your toes, you can breathe good. And mainly, you got good relationships with people.
And to go beyond even physical food and relationships, purity extends to a much higher level. If we were to look at your thoughts, for example, you know, you can be as breatharian as you want. You can stop eating in a natural or non-natural way, but that does not give you the ultimate purity.
Right.
When you can master your mind, not judge other people, see situations to their core and see the cause of them, when you can look at things with equanimity without putting labels on them, that's purity.
Oh, absolutely.
What else is purity? Purity is being able to focus on one thing and go along towards that thing with your actions, with your mind straight to in one direction, without being cluttered by other people's visions, thoughts, or judgments. That's purity.
Absolutely.
What else is purity? Purity is purity of emotions, the ability of feeling love, compassion, benevolence towards other people without judging, without putting labels, and without hatred for their actions. Because when in a state of purity, you are able that their actions that might seem bad to you might come from a place of sorrow to them. So that's also purity.
Oh, absolutely.
Whenever I'm finding myself getting out of this purity, we all do, we go back to purity again because that's my aim. How do we do that? Well, first we purify our bodies. If you're food free, there's not much to do. I mean, you could do some detox or some cleansing or some wellness or whatever that has to do with the body.
Right.
Or some asanas, some yoga, some qigong. But if it's going to the emotional state, how can you purify that? Well, you can use tools for emotional body detox, for cellular memory detox. That's also cleaning emotions. You could use the qigong, the emotional wisdom qigong that we teach. I have a class on my website on that.
Right, keeping that energy flowing.
That clears your emotions and keeps prana flowing. What else you could do? For the mind, for example, you see yourself rambling, you see yourself judging, notice yourself. Don't think that that's normal.
Right.
It's not. It's just an alienated state of mind that all people
Putting
have.
our mind in some type of discipline.
Exactly. Putting our minds to discipline and bringing it back to its core, to its alignment,
Right.
to serving you and not you serving her. That would be purity.
Oh,
what
absolutely.
else is purity? Well, purity in sexuality and relationships.
Absolutely.
Could
Now,
we-
that's a
could
big
we
one.
go into that?
Right.
We could go into that, you know.
Now, I teach sexual cultivation and I'm celibate. However, I'm not against sex at all. However, the way you use your sexual energy does mean something. To deny that, you're off somewhere else in la la land. There's purity within that. Whether if you direct it with one person that you really love makes a difference than you just having sexual diarrhea. Many people get themselves in trouble with these sexual energies. It's in all my workshops, everybody I deal with, and the main thing they talk about, the last relationship I was in, and it was a disaster. That's going into the emotional body again.
Again, yeah, and going further to that, and putting it in a nutshell, what's purity to sex? Love.
Absolutely.
That brings the purity into everything you do. So you can turn your sex into tantra, being into a union.
And the
with
main thing is
partner
loving
you
yourself.
choose. Loving yourself, that's the ultimate tantra, being in union with yourself, divine feminine with divine masculine.
Right.
That when you meet a partner, you're in purity because you're in your center. And being in union with your partner, divine self to divine self, not looking at him like an external being and a person and
Right.
a personality, but an expression of the divine that comes to you as the divine, and you meet her or him as the divine.
Because usually
That's
when you
purity.
get into an argument or a disagreement with the intimate person you're with, it's because you're uncomfortable with yourself. That's where the first conversation begins. And if you're disagreeing with that person within your mind, it's going to reflect on the person you're with. That's usually the root of most people's dilemmas.
Yeah,
It's
and
with self.
usually outer conflict reflects inner conflict. How do we bring that to purity? Well, by looking honestly at what you feel, by looking clearly at what your emotions and desires are, not hiding behind the bush, being honest with yourself. Well, this is what I want. This is where I am now. Not wrapping itself into a spiritual cloth. That's not gonna solve the problem. Not putting, spiritually accepted labels on it. If you want something, you admit it.
Exactly.
And then you work through it with purity.
And celibacy is also awesome. Well, let me go into that. We understand that one aspect, okay. But now you're working on yourself. I got enough job dealing with myself. I don't want nobody else to deal with me. I'm dealing with myself, and it's beautiful. It's beautiful to really unlock the doors within yourself without taking on somebody else's mind. When you're in an intimate relationship, you're at least going to have 50% of that other person's thought process. Now, if that's the experience you need, fine. But if you want to go into this other experience of opening up this other door within yourself, it is a beautiful journey for those who's ready for it. In other words, you can actually have more productivity in your life, fulfill your dreams instead of somebody else's goals, and you have a lot more energy.
Yeah.
They got groups, for instance, let's take it to the physical. One is called No Fat. Fat means masturbation, but they got that group on the internet that's real big where people are getting away from porn addiction. But just by cutting out the physical aspect, your energy level rise. See, your sexual energy is down in your first chakra, and heat loves to rise upwards. And when you're not spending it in that type of manner no more, it's going to rise upwards by its automatic nature. It starts feeding the brain, feeding the organs. Now, of course, you add diet to this. See, it's a whole package of purity. Also, intermittent fasting is on the scene now to really get the physical body going, which goes into the emotional, what goes into the mental. You are a whole new being, whole new burst of energy, and you are creating those things you really want to create in life. And you can meet people at a level where there's no manipulation, you're not trying to sleep with them, and you're not trying to give off your emotional stuff nor take theirs. It's good, clean fun.
Of course, and from that state of purity, you can eventually meet someone that could be your partner and not be encluttered by their thoughts and emotions. When you're in self-mastery and are able to distinguish your thoughts from others, your emotions from others, and your intentions from the others, you are able to be clear and to see exactly with the partner, what is this one bringing to me? And from that place of mastery, decide, is this beneficial for me? Am I taking it in or not?
Absolutely.
Am I working with it? Because everyone is actually showing the deepest part of you. In Tantra, the other partner is called the alter ego. Why? Because it's just an extension of you prolonged in another body with another gender. Isn't that nice to look at? That's purity. When you look at your partner as the extension of you, showing you to you, then it's a very good and important step to spiritual development.
Absolutely.
You're mirroring yourself into another, being able to pull out where the corners of your being where you couldn't get by yourself, maybe.
'Cause
So that's another way of looking at it with the non-celibate lifestyle.
Because the main thing we want to do is grow spiritually. And we all want to live good, clean lives. So this purity covers all bases.
Yeah,
All bases.
yeah,
It deals with our family members. It deals with friends. It deals with people we're walking down the street. And yes, this goes, we live in the physical realm so we can relate to our physical bodies. Start really thinking about what you put in your body, what you say. All of this is purity.
absolutely. And why do we say purity is the new high? Because you've seen us the last few days, and all over our, you've seen our posts and many others who are living this lifestyle. High means being in a state of grace, being in a state
You're
of
high.
inner beauty, being in a state of joy, not because you earned the lottery or you had your best job given to you to do, but just because the trees are green and the sky is blue and this prana flowing through you. That's the new
absolutely.
high of purity.
That's the new high.
And you're able to have that state every day when purity is within and prana flows through.
Because the foundation again is health. Even though I teach Breatharianism, what I teach is just stay on a healthy path and it brings more light into the body. This is why this is the new high. It feels good to feel good. There was a man I just met who had a stroke, and he basically gave me a testimony. If only he could walk on the grass again, it will feel so good. He took it for granted. Do not take your life for granted. Live pure, live clean, and live healthy.
And purity is the new high.
That's the new high.
See us soon.
Y'all been wonderful.
Yeah.
We hope we answered any questions, and we're not talking unnatural. This is natural. Because we as human beings, our mind, the light within us, we all have this light within us. And it's like a clear sky.
Yeah.
Those clouds that's coming past, just let them pass by. The dark ones, the rainy ones, really get to go into your pure nature and let it shine from out.
Okay, and for more questions, feel free to fill up the comments and also check our websites. Mine is soulhealingacademy.com and Elitom's is
EltrayanElitom.com.
.com. So you can ask questions there, see our events, some of the events we have together, some of the events we have individually, and have fun with the articles that we post.
Oh, exactly.
On soulhealingacademy.com you find a lot of information on prana. Dig into that scientifically, holistically presented from all points of view. So
Right.
feel free to visit us.
So stay high.
See you soon.
See you
Purity is the
soon.
new high.